So, the theme of my research was sort of small things that we can do to help the environment. Because, as was mentioned in some of the readings, changing the environment can seem like a daunting task. So, for me, the most effective thing to do is to start small. So, in my research, I tried to find suggestions that were very plausible in average, life from day-to-day things that we can do to help with the environment. So just a few examples of the things that I found. If you do gardening, you can collect rainwater to use for the watering of your garden. That's pretty cool because you can just use like a barrel or however you want to do it to collect the water, and then you just use it for that, and you can use it for flowers and maybe even a little bit of a lawn. So another thing that I found was to choose reusable rather than disposable. So some examples of that would be like cleaning gloves. Unless you work in a hospital, you might not need to use disposable gloves. You could just buy the cleaning gloves that are rubber and you can use them over and over again. Another example of this is cloth napkins. We're used to using just, regular napkins and throwing them away. You usually don't see the cloth napkins unless you're like a fancy restaurant type thing, but it's a very good solution. All you have to do is wash it and use it again instead of throwing away. Another example is that I found that I think applies to everybody very easily is to use a water bottle instead of buying bottles of water. If you feel like your water isn't, I don't know, like it's not super clean or whatever, you can get a filter. It filters the water and it's perfectly fine for you to use. And that way we're not throwing away tons of plastic. So along with the idea of like the napkins is also reducing the use of paper plates and plastic utensils. So instead, yeah, it might be a lot easier to take out a plate and eat off it and throw it away rather than putting it in the sink and washing it and cleaning it. But it's a lot harder to clean it up out of the environment. It's a lot harder to clean out the plastic. Finally, another example that I found very useful was to create a compost pile. One of my sisters actually does this, and I think it's a wonderful idea. And it's very useful, especially for gardening and stuff like that. And I think it's another small thing actually you can do is doing something like a garden if you are able to, because you are able to grow that stuff, and that's much more environmentally friendly than, getting in your car, going to the store, buying all this stuff, getting it out of the cans. I mean, think about your vegetables and like green beans, canned green beans. Go to the store, they're in a can, open it, throw the can away. So you could grow that stuff and it would be very good and it's a great option. So really, in some of the stuff that I thought of what I could do is to, in reducing the amounts that we use, just one small thing, it makes all the difference. Think about someone who throws litter out, for example. If one person who always litters decides this time not to throw out their can or their bottle, whatever, that significantly reduces the amount of litter that's out on the side of the roads and on trails. So if one person does that, and another person does that, and another person does that, it all kind of goes into one thing. One small change can lead to a huge result. And I think that's the best option for this area, is to start small, choose one thing to improve on, and that'll make all the difference.